It's great to see you today on the Raven's Nest, finding hope and spirit in these interesting times. And don't forget to subscribe. We learn such negative self-talk
Hmm.
throughout our lives, and getting over that and getting past that is probably one of the most difficult things that any of us will ever do. And I don't know that we ever truly get past it. But one of the things I've found that has helped when I find myself getting especially negative towards myself is acknowledging that negativity, going, wow, it must be really difficult feeling that way. And so kind of acknowledging that voice that's hurt and saying whatever things it's saying, because it's a part of yourself that's been hurt at some point.
Hmm. Hmm.
And saying, that must be really difficult feeling that way. And then recognizing the ways in which that hurt is something that's in the past.
Hmm.
And so that we have choices moving forward and saying, okay, I understand that this voice has come from somewhere in the past, but it's no longer realistic and it's no longer helpful as I move forward in the future.
Yeah.
And so kind of coming up with some type of chant or something that you say to
Yeah.
yourself, going,
Some kind of
I recognize
negotiation of,
I
yeah.
recognize this feeling and I
Hmm.
honor this feeling, and I understand that it's a feeling that I've lived with, but going forward, I don't need this in my life. And so while I recognize that you're trying to warn me about something or that you are still holding on to these old feelings, what's some way that we could approach whatever it is that's coming up that I'm scared of or that I'm procrastinating about? What's a way that we could approach this that would feel better, that would
Hmm.
feel more positive, that would reinforce a more positive message versus the you're a failure, you're useless, you're all of these negative things. What are some positive things that could come of whatever this thing is that I'm afraid of? Because usually when that voice starts talking, it's something that I'm afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a fear voice that pops into your head because you're afraid you're not going to be good enough or you're not going to do it right or whatever it is that's come from our backgrounds of having to do everything right and being reminded when we're wrong. And so it's like, okay, so what's the worst thing that could happen if this isn't right? Uh, it's not going to be a life or death situation most of the time. And it's not like I'm performing brain surgery on someone. And if I
Hmm.
do it wrong, I've destroyed their brain.
Yeah.
So maybe let's just try it and see what happens and see what we learn from it.
Hmm.
And maybe we can learn some new outcomes and some new ways of approaching things and start rewriting. It's like rewriting our hard drive.
Yes,
And
totally.
I used to think of it as more like a record in our brains, but we don't often have the capacity of rewriting a record. However,
Mm-mm.
we can rewrite a hard drive. We can edit a tape.
Yeah.
Uh,
Or
and
an
but
MP3 or file or
Right,
whatever
exactly.
easily.
We can edit a
Yeah.
file. And so looking at it as kind of like, okay, so that was useful information at some point in our past because we took that in as a way in which to protect ourselves when we were afraid, or when we were concerned, or when something could potentially harm us. But now we're in a different place. And so what are some new things we could learn in order to rewrite that portion of our hard drive?
Mm. Yeah, that sounds like negotiation. I would say there's another version, another set that all of us have to some degree, which is
Mhm.
that voice is a voice that we heard over and over
Mm,
or one time very at a very important moment that was from somebody else and it gets stuck and then we
mhm,
kind of digest it and it feels like it becomes part of us. And what I do with those and when they're mean or discounting is I say nowadays when I hear it, my attitude is look, you need to either we need to this isn't working for me, you need to
mhm,
either help me or get the F out, like shut the F up. Because Because that's kind of what I would say if I was at the limit with another person and they're just
Hmm.
every time around them the same things. I would, that it wouldn't be like, well, what can we do? No, they're not going to change. So either if you're not going to change, you can't be here. You can't be
Mm.
have access to me. And I do think it's fair that some, because there are some mean people that have raised and influenced young ones. Mean.
Hmm. Hmm.
And someone doesn't need to negotiate with that. It's like, I say no. And getting to that point can be quite like just nipping it in the bud every time it shows up. I'm not listening to you anymore. Um, and I hope
Say
that
it to the hand,
say it to the
right?
hand. Yeah, walk away. Um, Kind of like claiming the space. Like, look, this is my
Hmm.
inner space, and here are the rules,
Hmm.
which is fair. And also think that that's good practice for what we need to do collectively, right?
Right,
Like,
right.
like a hard no.
Hmm.
No, no, no
Yeah.
more. Yeah. So may we all find, recognize the moments when that's going on during it, because sometimes it's like the changing habits, right? And changing
Hmm.
habits take a while. It's not quick, especially the longer that we've had a habit. It takes, first we recognize, oh, I did it. I fell in the hole again after. But even before that is, well, what hole? What do you mean? I mean, isn't this how it works? And then after a while, we're like, screw that. And then we recognize it after. And then we recognize it during. And then we recognize the precursors, what could end up going in the hole, but we say, and then we change the habit. So I think it's good practice for what all of us need to do together to move forward, is that when we catch wind of those inner presences, or I call them squatters on my inner couch, like, get the f out of my house, off my couch. You don't I don't want you here anymore. And then what do we do about that? And that we have some fierceness about it and have a strong boundary. I think that strengthens us for what is being called of us, from us right now. And the more that us as individuals recognize that when we need to do that and not be
Hmm.
doormats, then
Right.
when the big bullies show up and try to do what they want to do, then people move through whatever fear there is realistically about danger, and are able to show up in important ways because we've tamed or worked with the big bullies inside. So there is a direct relationship. So let's hope that this year is really good practice for that.
Hmm.
Really good
Well,
practice.
you're saying that just had this thought pop into my head, so I'm just going to spit it out. That basically, um, I guess, give yourself permission to not have to be fearless, but be okay with being fierce.
Fierce and it fearless is
Fierce is
unrealistic.
okay, right?
Yeah,
Fearless is unrealistic.
it's very unreal because
So,
it's scary. A lot of this is
right,
scary. It really is. And we all also have all these memories in our DNA from ancestral experiences with what the same thing of what's going on around the world in different places
right.
now. It's not new. It's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years. And so, like for me, there's times when I feel, and I've labeled them ancestral type of voices saying, shh, no, nothing good comes of standing out, just like
Right,
blend in if you can, or just be quiet. And I'm like, I can't,
right.
or that kind of thing. So that is real. And those are the voices also that we need to work with. Like every ancestor that's been taken down by horrible bullies, some of them might be like, yeah, and others are like, this, not this again. But here we are. Yeah, run away and hide if possible.
Right.
Um, so yeah, that's really where we're at, and to get where we need to go, not only for our own personal well-being, but for the collective of all life on this planet, as we can see, like that right now, where this over this weekend that we just passed
Hmm.
in the northeast of this country, like snowgeddon, right? A snow cyclone all over the Midwest and such. And yet in the Southwest, Texas had the hottest hot
103 degrees in West Texas
yes, and
in
here
February.
in February, and here in
Right.
Tucson and surrounding areas 90 degrees. It's very
Hmm.
concerning. And so that is Mother Nature, or whatever you call it, giving us this tap saying, look,
Saying,
this
hello,
isn't
wake
a
up.
good direction you're going, and you're all choosing
Right.
this. So there's that's in the mix too.
Right.
These people can have whatever ideas they have in their head, but Earth is a being of an entity with its own actions as well.
Hmm.
And so we those of us that are working with that and not against it, we could actually ask for support and assistance from all of the beings in nature, all of our
Hmm.
ancestors, all the ones who are in the other world that they're not here anymore. We need all the help we can get.
We're glad you joined us today on The Raven's Nest, finding hope and spirit in interesting times. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like what you hear, give us a big thumbs up. We'll see you next time.